Hey, Trap Talk Nation, Zach Nannini here. Thanks again for tuning in this fabulous Friday. We've got something special lined up for you today. First of all, we're kicking it off with Phil Murray and Steve Ellinger from Clay Target Legends. These guys are capturing stories from our past and doing it across all shotgun sports, not just trap shooting. So this would be a special episode alone, but we're going to give you a double barrel or a twofer, as I like to call it. Gotta love a twofer. So after you're done, stick around, and we're going to sit down with the mayor of Redbud, Illinois, Susan Harbaugh. She was a wonderful lady. We had a lot of fun, and she took time out of her busy schedule to talk with us about just how important the Grand America is to Redbud, Sparta, and all the surrounding communities. So you guys let us know what you think. Likes, comments, shares. We appreciate you supporting Trap Talk, and we'll see you next Friday.
Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
Welcome back to another episode of Trap Talk. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. We are live at the Building 106 at the 2025 Grand American, and it is wrapping up. We just got done with the preliminary handicap, the doubles championship, and I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr.
What's up?
Ricky, how's it going? How you feeling?
Good. Good day today. Had 99 in the doubles, 98 in the handicap, missed late, but there's a couple hundreds in right now, so scores are big, great weather. So I think there's 1,600s in the doubles. So I think it'll be a good shoot-off night.
Yeah,
so
we got some
we'll
shoot-offs
give you some
to watch.
updates. So
we're watching shoot-offs, but in between, why not do some podcasting? Right?
that's right.
So would you mind introducing our friends?
So we have the Clay Target Legends, two of the three. Two of the three. So we have Steve Ellinger and we have Phil Murray. Now, I've known Phil for a long time because Phil was the national sales manager for White Flyer back in the day. So it's great to have you guys on. We're going to talk a little bit about what the Clay Target Legends are.
Okay. Well, then I guess the best and first question is, what is Clay Target Legends and why did you guys get it started?
Well, let me jump in there first.
Yep.
I've always been a bit of a history buff, and I've been a sporting clay shooter for going on 40-something years now. And it just dawned on me one day that nobody is actually out there promoting the history of this sport. And so Phil and I decided we're going to start the Clay Target Legends program. Phil, like you said, had been retired, and so I called him one day and said, "No, you're not anymore. I've got you busy again."
Oh, well.
And so we have started working with the museum here with the ATA and the NSCA Museum in San Antonio to update it and to bring it up to speed and make it progressive and really make the history of this sport active.
Yeah, perfect.
Which is what you want to do. You want the history, because I'm a history guy myself. I own a lot of photos and old programs, and you can ask my wife. I have every program from every shoot I've attended since 1988, and Trap and Fields and the Traps USA magazines and such. But it is so cool that there is people out there that don't know who some of our legends are.
Yeah, and what we bring to this, and we mentioned our third, two of the three. Our third is a gentleman named Matt Smith that has a broadcast background.
Okay.
And then I have this historical knowledge that's pretty complete. And, of course, Phil, as you just mentioned, goes way back. And there's not anybody in this sport that doesn't know Phil. And that's been a real advantage.
Yeah, that's when we used to shoot bow and arrows at them.
They used to use slingshot. No, but
Black powder.
Yeah, well, it is because I shoot all the disciplines, and it is interesting that when I'm shooting, years ago I went to the first World Skeet Shoot I ever attended. It was my first one. It was Phil's 51st World Skeet Shoot, and I was like, damn. He's been shooting a long time.
I ended up going to 60 consecutive.
60?
60 consecutive. I've got. That's the only record I've got.
No, Phil has broken a lot of good scores. Don't let him talk that. No.
And let me tell you something. He has so many trophies and mementos and artifacts that his wife threatens him, don't bring anything else home.
Yeah.
So he puts it in my house.
Just donate to
Donate to the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
somebody else.
Yeah.
So I want to be very clear. Do you guys just cover sporting clays, skeet, trap? Like what's the focal point?
Everything. It would.
I was asking.
Okay.
I wanted to get the guest to answer the question.
With the particularly skeet, trap, and sport, in all three disciplines, and even the international, the Olympic
Okay.
Games. We're trying to bring that into the Kim Rohde and Vince Hancock into the San Antonio thing.
Yeah.
And Matt Drake, we hope to do that this year. We couldn't do it, but next year we're probably going to put him in the Hall of Fame. And then
Okay.
I was talking with the trustees on the ATA about going back to like Carlisle, Haldeman, and some of the other ones
Yep.
that won trap medals. They should be represented in the ATA museum also.
Yeah, because I know they put Tom Gerges in
Yeah.
a few years ago,
Yeah.
which he was actually one of my coaches when I shot at the
really?
Olympic Training Center in the 80s, the late 80s
Great
and early
shot.
90s.
Great shot.
Oh, yeah. He actually had I don't know if I told that story on the podcast. I have at the end of one of the camps we went to, because Randy Moeller was in charge of those back in the day. And they put a deal like, oh, you did good, and my deal from Tom Gerges was, he might be an okay shot, and that's what it's written there. And I still have that. And it's funny. I told his wife that when she came to the Hall
Right.
of Fame, and she's like, "You're in the Hall of Fame." I said, "Well, I guess I'm an okay shot."
Yeah.
But it was funny, and that's the cool thing, because there is no deal for the international.
Right.
Hall
And what
of Fame
really got
stuff.
it all started was that in the skeet and the sporting clays over in San Antonio, they'd kind of let it drag for a lot of years, and there wasn't
Yes.
a lot of updating and things like that. And loving history and all that, and I grew up amongst all these guys, and there was a lot of them were my mentors and stuff like that. So it was a great opportunity to be able to get back in touch with a lot of these people too, and of course what we found out was we'd ask. Call a guy like Kenny Barnes, the guy who broke the first 400 out of 400 in skeet.
Yeah.
And all that. Kenny's response was, "I thought you forgot about me."
Yeah.
As a Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah.
And that's what we found.
We have had so many of the legendary shooters, whether it's traps, skeet or whatever, come to us and say, we didn't think anybody was even interested in this until you guys called and said, hey, we've got people that want to know. But the other thing is that we want to promote like trap shooting.
Yeah.
Okay. Trap shooting is such a great activity for families. We've seen a lot of kids here. And the ATA is the best organization, bar none, to help do that. So we
Yeah.
want to help promote ATA.
And-
that's why we're here.
And what we're trying to do too is we're trying to get the association, the different organizations to work together.
Yes.
We're all shotgun shooters, we're target shooters, and what we've been able to accomplish, we have a NSSA and NSCA exhibit in the museum over here.
Oh,
And
okay.
down in San Antonio we have an ATA museum.
And that's
set up in this.
fantastic because I really think that, and I've heard this because I've talked to skeet shooters, sporting clay shooters, trap shooters, and it's just like, especially when I was in college at Lindenwood, it'd be like, oh, those are the sporting guys. They're these are the skeet guys.
Yeah.
Those are the trap guys. And everybody's in their own little cliques and everybody thinks that they're the best shotgun pointers of all time in their little hodgepodge. And the sporting guys say the trap guys can't shoot. The trap guys say you can't shoot. I mean, everyone's a good shot.
Right.
Everyone has their
Yeah,
own abilities.
absolutely.
And what I learned, the best lesson of my life shooting wise, was shooting with those sporting guys and skeet guys and actually learning the techniques that they were using and then bringing that and building it into my game and just being like, okay, now I can be a little bit more well diverse. Like Ricky, I mean, most people in the world can't shoot a shotgun at everything the way he can shoot, and that's not natural. You have to learn how to, okay, this is a technique for skeet, this is a technique for sporting. But for you guys, is it video? Is it audio? How do you present the information once you gather it? And where can people watch it?
So what we're doing, it's a YouTube program. If you just go to YouTube channel and put in Clay Target Legends, every episode that we've done thus far will come up. Now, we've done 22 episodes since we've been here this week.
Wow.
That's
a lot.
A lot. Edited and put together over the next 9 months or
Yeah.
whatever. So we've got a lot of it coming out there.
How soon do you release them? Once a week? Once a month? I mean, do you drop all at once, or how do you?
Right now, we're averaging about one a week.
Okay.
And they average anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. It just depends on what we're talking about.
Okay.
And it's everything from, like I said, the shooters to the guns to the artifacts to the targets. Anything about this sport, any clay target sport, we're featuring if it's historical or legendary.
That makes sense. So are you primarily focusing on people that have already pretty much been in the Hall of Fame and more, or do you have like are you interviewing any up and coming shooters or things like that? Like, what's the focal point?
Well, we've interviewed a few younger shooters that maybe are not in the Hall of Fame, but certainly headed that direction.
a lot of the potential, the young kids out there, the AIM or the SCTP and things like that. There's a lot of great kids out there, as you all know. And the thing is that we're trying to get more and more of them to talk to them, and when we get them is to try to get them to begin to appreciate about the sport that all of us in our podcasts and things like that, we're not always going to be here, and it's going to be their ball game somewhere down the line. So if they love the sport, this is to give them an opportunity to participate and get involved, and they can carry the banner after we're gone.
Yeah, and that's what we want.
But what kind of bothers me is that if you ask a lot of the shooters here, the younger shooters, who Leo Harrison is, they may not know. Or if you go to San Antonio, who was Alex Kerr? They may not know. Or who was John Kruger in Sporting Clays? And by the way, he's been here
John
this week.
has been here. I didn't get a chance to go see him, and I don't know if he left or not.
No, we did.
Did he leave?
But
okay.
These folks need to know that. They need to know where these clay target sports have come from and where it is now.
Yeah, because most of those guys, like Leo, Leo was our greatest trap shooter of all time, in my opinion. He won the most rings out of anybody so far, but he could also shoot the other games.
Right, he was a great skeet shooter.
Absolutely. I think he broke 100 in every gauge but the 410. I don't know if he did in the 410.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and I've got something that I'm so excited to announce. Trap Shooting USA has now become the official magazine of the Trap Talk podcast.
No, it's not only Trap Shooting USA now. It's Wing and Clay Life, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and Clay Shooting USA.
I'm just really excited because they make such a high-quality magazine. If you guys haven't had these magazines and you actually get to touch them in your hands, they've got really thick paper, they're really glossy, and they keep it really cool. I just love it.
The Traveling Gunsmith, and then in this newest episode, we have...
Oh, man. Look at those handsome guys. I love this. I love it.
Yeah, that was my story. That the first time I ever met him was out at Tucson at the old Pueblo.
Yep.
And he was out there. He broke 394 out of 400 and won the high over. I said, this guy can shoot trap and he can shoot ski.
He can shoot a shotgun.
Yeah.
He could shoot a shotgun. Yeah. It didn't matter if it was a daisy bird or a BB gun or
like
whatever. He could shoot it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we have his DT11 or DT10 over there in the museum right now that we had out yesterday.
Yeah, it's you talk like Wayne Mace. I'd met Wayne years ago, and he had actually broke 100 from the 27.
Yeah,
in trap.
Right.
Do you remember?
I think it was.
Do you remember what the nickname for his shotgun was? Blondie. Do you remember that?
I do remember people talking.
1400.
Yeah.
He shot a Winchester 1400.
Yeah, and still probably the best skeet shooter in history.
He shot the heck out of that thing.
Yeah, because I know Bender very well. Being
all the stories I could tell you about Bender.
I could tell you some stories about Bender, and that'll
this
be
is
for
a family
Trap Talk
this is
after
a family.
dark. So we can't talk about.
This is a family program.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's been one of the great things of this is fortunately with the success that I had in shooting, I got to know all these guys.
Absolutely.
And like the Benders, the Mays, on the Sporting Clays guys, the Krugers, the Pals, and stuff like that. So we understand one another. We can talk, and I can go to them and say, "Hey guys, I need you to say some things about good about the sport." They'll come and do it. And when like Bender, went to Bender. Hey, we need your help for the Hall of Fame Museum. We need stuff. He went out and got stuff. We got Wayne's stuff, Wayne Mays' stuff, and now we're on doing the Sporting Clay stuff in San Antonio.
What I think is really cool, and this is my belief, and this is my bet on the direction of where the sport's going. There's so many people now that are doing things like you guys are doing. We've got this podcast. You guys are documenting. There's some other people doing mini videos now and kind of getting more involved in promoting. And what I'm seeing is people are getting excited and they're coming.
Right.
And right now we're not seeing like a huge surge yet, but I think we're priming the pan for getting people excited to come back out to shoot and to get more people involved. And what I think is a total miss, because I haven't seen a lot of marketing done as far as in this sport to be able to promote it and say, hey, we're going to grow it. How many people shoot shotguns for hunting or for recreational and have never shot trap or have never heard of the ATA? And there's not anything that I'm aware of that's out there that's physically being marketed or pushed.
It never has been, unfortunately, but look at all the hunting licenses that are sold.
Exactly. That's your prime. In Illinois, Missouri, where I'm from, Nebraska, and the youth shooting is the future. They do come in, they do go away, college, such, but they come back. And the one thing with what you guys are doing, with the artifacts and all that, and trying so people see who the legends were. There's people that you can look through the program and see people like Joe Heiston that won I don't know how many Grand American Championships. and people are like, who's that? Same thing like you mentioned, Leo. We got Leo's
27
poster
rings.
on the wall. I knew him, but there's people that are like, who you when and I'll make a comment about Big L. And they're like, who's Big L?
Big
I'm
L,
like,
that's right. Yeah.
that's what I called him. I'm like, because he's a big guy and his name was Leo, so Big L.
But I think we've got to get the message out there to more people. Just coincidentally, we had dinner last night with Brian Scoose.
Oh, yeah.
Who used to own White Flyer,
Yep.
and we were talking about this very topic. And we talked about magazine ads and newspapers and radio. Said that's not where it is anymore.
Nope.
It's podcasts, it's YouTube, it's social media.
That's right.
That's where you're going to get the people that are going to bring up after our years.
Yeah,
They
because
want to
the kids
digest
are
it,
so-
and they're on the phone. They want to be able to
Oh.
just hit it really quick, watch it in between, digest it. I mean, they're not waiting on a month for the magazine to show up that they can't. It's just it's too far out. They want
Right.
to be able to get it now, digest it, move on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's
And,
instant gratification is the big thing, and that
Yeah, I mean,
that's exactly right. Now, have you been to the Hall of Fame in San Antonio?
I have.
Okay.
I've been
in there because being a college coach and going to, I think I've been to 12 national sporting clays championships, 12 in a row it was, and then with those, I'd go in every year.
Sure.
And it would be the same old stuff.
We're fixing that.
Yeah, and I was like, because someone even said, well, God, I was in here last year. They didn't change anything. I'm
Well,
like,
I believe
yeah.
this will be my 25th year to go to the Nationals. And
Okay.
you're right. Until last year, where we brought in George Bush's shotgun and that sort of thing, it's been the same thing. And so we're
Yep.
fixing that. We're adding new displays. We're adding new exhibits. This year, we're pleased to announce that we're going to have Annie Oakley's personal shotgun
Shotgun,
on
man.
exhibit,
that's,
that'd be
that's
cool.
awesome.
which will be really cool.
Yeah,
That'll be at Sporting Clays Nationals.
Well, and the World
And the
Ski
World
and the
Shoot.
World Ski.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I just think, like you said, there's such a lack of documentation of the greats, and then there's no education on teaching who they were. And not that, the new up-and-coming shooters aren't the new hottest thing ever, and I'm so happy that they're doing what they're doing. But I think there has to be some nostalgia for the people that laid the foundation, the
Right.
groundwork, that said, hey, this is what we were doing. And then when people talk about, well, example, in trap, one of the biggest things I could think, biggest accomplishments is a 400 out of 400 in the all-around. Ricky's got it. Dagan's got it. But then if you look back, Phil Kiner's got it. If you look back, Dan Ulrich, he did it in the 60s. I mean, he did
1969 to be exact.
1969. And so you look at that and you're like, how much better was this guy to do it in 1969 on hand pulls, hand sets, with older shells? The technology wasn't there. The fitting wasn't there. All the things that
And-
we have now.
And he played for the Green Bay Packers.
right. That's right.
Yeah, but nobody's even ever heard of him. They don't know anything about him. And
when we talk about the 4x4, because it gets brought up here occasionally, it'll be, Dan did it in 69, and then Phil Kiner did it twice in the
96?
No, 94 and 2003, or 93 and 2004. Then I did it in 13, and then Dagan did it at the COVID Grand in Missouri, 2020.
Right.
But let's go way back. Even the very first gold medal won by the U.S. in the
Yeah.
Olympics was in 1912
Yeah.
by a gentleman named J.R. Graham.
Yep.
And he went all the way to Stockholm, Sweden on a steamer, a train, and all that, and won the thing with 96 out of 100. Now, that tells you how times have changed.
He got it.
But we have his gun. We
Oh,
have
really?
the actual gun over there that you can look at and say, now, his gold medal was actually taken to school by his daughter for show and tell and got lost. Believe it or not.
Yeah, that's the
but we
true
have the
story.
gun.
Wow.
True story. But we have the gun.
Yeah, them gold medals always get lost around.
He's at a pawn shop.
I don't know where it's at now. It's gone.
Yeah.
I've lost all mine.
And that's the thing that's so amazing is why we're trying to get the Kim Rohdes and the rest of them involved, because the young kids, they know about the Olympics and
Absolutely.
they see it on TV.
Yep.
And what the Olympic shooters have done for the clay target sports is incredible. We could never pay for that advertising and stuff on there, and that's why. We really need to continue, and it's good to see that a lot of them are shooting international, but they got their start ski trapper sporting clays.
Now,
Yeah.
another question for you all. Do you have any sponsors that are helping you in your journey, and would you like to recognize them today, or what's the situation there?
Well, we have a lot of people that have helped us along the way, but it's not been anything where we've done this basically on our own.
Okay.
We felt that it was needed and that we'd see how it goes, and then if, down the line, we have a list, we put a list of people, but these are all people people that have helped us in one way or the other in our careers or whatever
Yeah.
else. They need to be thanked.
All right, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a quick break, and we got to welcome a new sponsor to the show, RGS Bore Stripper. It's a great product. Ricky, tell them how they can find it.
Go to their website, rgsguncleaner.com. You can get the 1 8-ounce bottle, free shipping, 2 8-ounce bottle, and you get the 2-ounce travel bottle, and it's free shipping also. Or just get the little 2-ounce bottle for travel.
Yeah, they sent me some of this product, and I used it on my Krieghoff choke tubes the other day, and it got the plastic out like in a minute, and it was super cool and super good. So if you like cleaning your gun, you like eliminating plastic, and you like shiny bores, give them a try for sure. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
Yeah, we'd really like to thank John Weber, the owner, for the support. He's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, we really want to thank John. We appreciate the support of the show. Anybody that supports Trap Talk, you guys need to support them and get this stuff because it's awesome.
And with that, let's get back to the show.
Hey, Trap Talk listeners, we got to take a real quick break, and we got to thank Ron Prescott from Mid-State Precious Metals for everything they do for the trap shooting community, coast to coast, for all your gold and silver buying needs. And on top of that, new announcement, they're a sponsor of the 126th Grand American.
Finally, he said it right, folks. Grand American. Yeah, Ron is a great guy. He's a sponsor of the Backfence Shootout at Nevada State Shoot and Ohio State Shoot. And also, we got our gold for our Trap Talk event at Nevada State Shoot. And the 77th annual Nevada State Shoot, they bought all theirs from him. 680 ounces of silver to be exact, folks. You're missing out if you're not there.
That's a lot of silver, and honestly, if you're not buying from Ron, you're probably overpaying. So whether you're buying it for your gun clubs or your shoots or for your personal use, you got to give them a try because they're big supporters of the Trap Shooting Nation. So it's awesome. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
Very similar to us. I mean, you kind of bootstrap, figured it out, and started doing it. And just as we're just going to do this, and then go from there. I mean, and that's the cool thing is you got to start, and then you got to make good content, and then people have to actually watch it and listen to it, and then from there you can go. But I've seen a few of the videos that you guys have put out, and they're very well done. So I mean, I will say that you guys are doing a good job, and
appreciate it.
I think
you had Scotty Robertson on the one.
Yeah,
I didn't really want to watch that one.
No,
I've known Scotty for a long time.
But let me tell you, Scott is doing a great job with Murray State University.
Murray State, yep.
And he's probably one of the best coaches there is right now. He's doing a great job.
But now we're going to have to put him back on with the World Box Bird. So
yeah, we heard about that.
Well, you'll hear about it for sure.
hear about everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay. I mean, it's good to learn about other things because for me, I am a novice when it comes to learning about the skeet shooters. I mean, I know about some of the greats, obviously. Who hasn't heard of Wayne Mace? But but there's a lot of others that I haven't heard about and I don't know about that. I'm like, I like learning that information, and it's entertaining for me for sure.
Well, one of we mentioned a while ago was Ken Barnes, and he was considered the father of the 4x4.
Yep.
Because he shot the very first 400 straight with a 410 pump, which is amazing to me. But Ken is what, 80 something years old?
83 years old.
83 years old. And he calls me routinely now just to touch base, just to see how things are going with this program.
See, and that's cool. And you go back, who was your first, was it 650? That was Buddy Boss.
Buddy Boss, and then I was the second one.
Yeah, because I know Buddy, because Buddy's a trap shooter now.
Right. Yeah, is he a trap shooter?
Oh, yeah, he's here at the Grand.
Oh, I wish I could see him because I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, Buddy's here, and he's with one of my students and good friends, Bruce Burton.
Yeah.
So they run around together and stuff. And I saw Bruce. I didn't see Buddy. I saw Bruce last night. But yeah, I actually sat down and talked to Buddy one day, and he took a class from me. And then his son, which they call him Bud Light, his son.
That's funny.
Yeah, but it was funny is, we got to talk a little bit about skeet, and he's like, "You shoot skeet?" And I go, "Actually, I don't shoot a lot of trap practice now. I shoot a lot of sporting clays, and I'll go shoot skeet with my buddy Rob Predmore, or years ago, I used to shoot with Billy Butenbaugh.
Yeah.
And Billy won the World 410 one year.
Right,
So Billy was the top skeet shooter in the state of Nebraska at the time, and I was one of the top trap shooters. And his dad and my dad worked together at Goodyear Tire and Rubber Factory. So it was always fun to go watch Billy shoot and just the practice,
And what we've tried to do, too, is when we interview people, a lot of the great shooters and things like that, and even the up-and-coming ones, we make a point. How can we help? What tips can they put out there to help some of the people? And how did they start? And how do you get nervous? When you miss, do you get mad?
Yeah.
And one of them, I told one of them, I said, you got to learn how to miss before you can win.
That is true.
And when he said, he says, that's hard to do. But I said that's how you become a champion. You got better learn how to miss.
Absolutely. And you've been doing this longer than I think all of us put together. No, I'm just kidding, Phil. But
No, thank you.
but seriously, you understand that. And I used to say, Leo and Frank used to always tell me, you're not good enough to be mad. I was like, what was that about? And that's
It's
what they
100%
said.
true,
And
and I
they
think-
would say, listen, you're not, until you can average 100, I'll let you be mad. Well, no one's ever averaged 100. Now, in skeet, there has been a few, I think at the 12 gauge, averaged 100 for the year, but that's on, 1,000 targets?
1,500 targets
Yeah,
max.
where trap,
Yeah.
we're shooting 5, 6. Some kids are shooting
Yeah.
10,000. That'd be hard. I mean, to do that. But
I would say if there is young people listening to the show, and I'm just going to speak in the trap world, I think the biggest opportunity for some of the young great shots is I've seen them get so angry when they shoot a 95 and 96 and 97 in the handicap, and they're like, well, I could have had a 98, I could have had a 99, I could have had a 100.
Could've.
And yeah, you could have. But the reality is, you're up and coming, you're learning, you're figuring it out, right? And you have to be able to have some poise and some pride and some humbleness because you haven't put the time in yet. Yes, you can shoot. Yes, you can win. Yes, you can do all these things. But you also have to say, okay, I got what I got today. Yeah. It is what it is, and move forward. And then get better and try to push to the next score. And next time, shoot the 97, 90. Every score I've ever shot, I mean, good or bad, I'm like, you know what? That's my score.
yeah, you can't do that.
That's my score. That's what it is. You can't be mad about it.
And if you notice, though, the younger the shooter, the bigger the miss, the harder they throw the shell down when they get out of the gun.
Yeah, I see the chips in the concrete sometimes. Just blowing
Yeah.
up.
Well,
exactly.
you see that a lot in the international stuff I see because they're used to slapping the shells and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then because I was a college coach for 10 years and I had a few bunker shooters that shot for me, and every once in a while and I'm like, mm-mm. And in the sporting, you see it a lot.
You see it a lot.
And I'm like, and trust me, I've done my fair share of it, but I always say, listen, when you do that, it causes this to think about stuff you don't need to think about.
Well, it only does that, but it also, fortunately now in the shooting sports the way they are, it wasn't this way always, is a lot of the industry companies are supporting the shooters a little
Absolutely.
bit, helping them
Correct.
through teams and all that. Well, you're a role model out there.
Absolutely.
And, if you throw a temper tantrum, you're not helping Winchester or Fiocchi or any
Oh,
of
yeah,
those.
none
and
of
if
them.
And if I'm in charge of the budget, you're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
goodness I was on White Flyer when Phil was there and I didn't do none of that stuff.
That's what I told Josh all the time.
Yeah. Josh Taylor, you're gone.
Dave Kelly did say that you had the first forward ejecting Craig off. But
That's because I went to catch the shell and it hit my hand and it went forward and he goes, I said, you want to see it forward? I'll wait till you shoot next time. It'll forward on your head.
Now, by the way, the thing that Phil and I have found, though, we don't always shoot as good as we used to.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, my saying is the older I get, the better I used to be.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's a lot of truth to that. In
Yep.
fact, nowadays, you've got to be really good like we are to still get as close as we do and still not hit it. That takes skill that we have perfected over the years, right?
dusting them and not breaking them consistently.
That was the best compliment I got about 3 weeks ago. A kid about 13 years old came up to me and said, Mr. Murray, how are you? I said, fine. Who are you? And he said his name. He says, my dad shot against you and he whipped your ass in a shoot-off.
That's good.
That's
Hey.
messed up. But hey, you know what? You're gonna get some licks every once in a while, and it's.
It's all in fun, guys.
It is, and I think it also shows to how good you are when people can say, "Wow, I actually beat that person," or because I mean, if you beat a great person, that's going to be in their memory forever. Well, the other side of it is, I mean, I don't think. I mean, you probably don't remember every person that's ever beat. Yeah, I mean,
I know a lot of them, and they'll come up and say, "Hey, you might have got me today, but back at blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Absolutely, I don't." That's part of the game.
It's just the game. It's just part of
is.
it, and
because trust me, I was that kid shooting against Leo or Frank Hoppy or Britt Robinson and able to be on the squad and be high on the squad, and the shoulders get a little wider and the head gets a little bigger because you're like, wow, I'm shooting with these legends. And I just was high on the squad. Mm-hmm. That's why we always had a saying, and you know this when we're all shooting together. If you're usually high on the squad, you probably won the event.
well, yeah, and just with the quality shooters that we're shooting with nowadays, that's.
But we're all doing it. We're enjoying it, but we want to win. And if I don't win, I want him to win or my squad.
That's the way it is. My mentor, D. Lee Braun, when I first started, the great trap and skeet shooter, D. Lee Braun from Remington, and a lot, first time I made All-American in skeet in '67 and all that, I was excited. And I went to him and all that, and he put his arm around me, and he always would say, son, he says, That's great. I'm proud of you and all that. But now take that down to McDonald's and see how much your hamburger's going to be.
It's the same thing. That and 50 cents can't get you a cup of coffee at Walmart.
But
is true, though.
D. Lee is in the skeet and the trap shooting Hall of Fame, so he was a legend.
He was a
by
legend.
all means.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of people that have made multiple All-American teams. And like that's very rare to have
incredible.
somebody say, okay, I'm going to make the trap All-American team, I'm going to make the skeet All-American team, I'm going to make the sporting clays All-American team. And that's something, I bet you'd be one to try that one day. Maybe go.
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country. And obviously, they love trap shooters. They love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys. With that being said,
Let's get to the show.
Well, actually,
sporting
when I was
clays
shooting a little bit of skeet, I did break 100 in the World 20 gauge
Yeah, you were
back
shooting
in
well.
16
You just
or
gotta
something.
shoot a little
and-
more. You have to,
yeah,
you
and
know.
then I got the shoot off, and I was actually Kevin Monteleone, Dr. Kevin, was following me, and he's like, "You're doing good," and he kind of helped me because I'm out there like. And then so that year was the first time I'd ever shot a 410 at a clay target. I'd hunted with a 410, but I'm like, and I shot with Hampton. And me and Devin Harris, and then a friend of Hampton's.
Hampton Senior.
Hampton Senior.
Got it.
Yeah, not Junior. Junior don't shoot much. He just runs the stuff. But
And a fine job he does.
Yes, he
though.
does. But I remember talking to one of the top skeet shooters. I can't remember who it was, and they were like, well, "You never shot Florida?" And he goes, "The center of your pattern's still the center of your pattern, Rick, just like a 12 gauge." I said, "Oh, okay." Walked right out and 25, and I was like, "Oh, this ain't hard." 23. I was like, "Okay, well, maybe come back to reality."
Give it a little bit of work. Take some time off of this, and then
No.
skeet talk. You heard it here
No.
first.
Zach just trying to get rid of me in the trap. But seriously, it is kind of a fun deal to look at, like, hey, could you make this? But I did win a couple Nebraska State skeet titles, and I have not master class, but I did win 2 AA class 5-stand national championships back when my first 2, I guess it was nationals I showed up for. I hadn't made master, but I came in and I'd already had the class declared, and everybody's like, well, you got to shoot master. And I said, okay, well, put me in. Well, no, you have to earn it. So I shot there that year, and I won that and won a couple other things. Well, then I didn't fire at a registered sporting clays target till nationals the next year. Came back, and Hampton Jr. says, you only need 1 punch till you're in master. And I go, guess I'll be getting it today. And he said, what are you talking about? I said, well, I shoot the 5-stand today. And I promptly walked out and broke like 95 or 96 of the 5-stand. He's like, what? I was like, I just love to shoot targets.
He's oblivious. You don't
Well,
know.
I want to shoot targets. That's why I hope more people listen to this, go out and shoot the other disciplines. Even though maybe you don't like to shoot, or I don't want to go register. Well, go try it, because
I was talking to a trap shooter last night that said, hey, we drove the cart around the sporting places here in Illinois, and it said my finger was just twitching to get out on that sporting clays course and go shoot.
I love doing
And that's an amazing fact. In all the top sporting clays guys we've interviewed and all that, one of the questions was, what's been the biggest factor that helped you learn how to break, the angles and was they started at skeet.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible
Oh, absolutely.
thing for,
I used to go, before I'd go shoot other shoots, I'd go out on the skeet field and shoot skeet doubles and try to break each target before they got to the trap house. And people were like, Billy Buteball one time said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just working on some stuff.
Training.
And that's, and that's back when I was shooting fixed choke trap doubles gun that was like 25 and 35. And he's like, that's a little too tight. And then you'd break a couple pairs, and it was just one little black dot and one little black dot.
How many courses do we go to that shoot sporting clays where we get straightaway or angle targets like a trap target also?
Oh, yeah.
So, you got 3 disciplines to really work at to make you a better shooter.
Yes.
An overall better shotgun pointer. At the end of the day, that's what we're all looking to do.
Yeah.
And if you get better at any one of the games, it's going to make you better at all the games. That's how
I go back and look at some of the legendary shooters in skeet and trap in the museum here in Illinois or in San Antonio, some of the 5-man squads and teams and things like this, and I thought, those guys were really, really good at what they did. I would love to see them on a sporting clays course today. And you know what? I bet the better ones could still go out there and clean everybody else's clock.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, and you talk, because you guys in skeet, well, I said Phil, you in skeet, you have the 5-man stuff or the 2-man races and all that, which is a cool deal. Trap, the only time we have anything like that is here at the Grand. We do the national team race, which they take 100 of I think it's Fridays. I think it's Fridays singles, handicap, and doubles, and then they do the state team race, where it's just the Clay Target Championship. And so, actually, Nebraska for the 3rd year in a row, we've won the national team race. The sub juniors won the national team race, and our juniors from Nebraska won it. Well, then now, fast forward, they had the Clay Target yesterday. Our delegate every delegate picks 5 people, and that's who the team is.
Yep.
Well, I was the only one that missed. We had $9.99.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I was like, well,
pretty salty.
You're pretty salty. I told our delegate, John Marsh, I said, you could have picked Barrett Debris. He broke his first 200, and then you guys, they would have had 1,000.
I'd have picked Barrett.
He wouldn't have.
For sure.
I would have picked you, Barrett.
And congratulations to Barrett on
Absolutely. Broke his first 200 and won the sub-junior Clay Target Championship.
Well, on top of that, his brother Wyatt broke the 200 in the Clay Target. That was his first one, and they both won their category championship. So both brothers, one won the junior and one won the sub-junior.
Wyatt did not win the junior, I don't think.
I thought he
did. So you need a fact check.
I'll fact check.
Hold on, fact check.
We'll look.
Wyatt Debris, did you win the juniors?
Oh, hey,
he was the runner-up, folks. See, Zach is finally wrong.
I was wrong.
And
I'll give it to you. I just believed in him. He hit him so hard. I'm like, that's got to be the
There
champion.
was a lot. And Wyatt shot. So everybody out there, there's 2 5x5s broke this week. And it's by the same squad. Zach, Herbie Lewis, Rich Bullard, Joey Charnago, and Wyatt Debris. And that's the first time that I know of that it's happened, the same squad, twice at the Grand American.
Bullard's still shooting.
Oh, yeah, Rich Bullard. Yeah, see, Phil Murray said he's seen you out there with a walker.
He's getting punches thrown from other divisions of sports now. Ski shooters are hitting on him. This is incredible.
And he deserves it.
Hey, but look at the good news. If we're alive long enough, someday we'll be doing articles and videos on those guys because they're legends.
Yeah.
So it just happens.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story today. Is there anything else that you want to leave in parting before we get out of here?
The only thing I want to say is we've been here at the Grand American all week or 13 days, whatever it's been, and I will tell you that I think Lynn Gibson and the ATA does an amazing job at putting on these events. And if people don't think that takes a lot of work, let them step in their shoes sometime and try it.
Yeah, it is a lot of work to put this shoot on, I'm sure. And, I mean, you see the volume of it, the amount of targets that they throw. I mean, it's not a simple task for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think always looking to improve and be better is a constant goal for everyone, But it's definitely a lot that's going on out there,
sure.
and it's a big deal. I mean, there's nothing bigger than this in the shooting world.
This is the largest shoot over the. What are we shooting? 11 days?
11, 12 days.
Yeah. This many
aim,
targets. And then with the aim in there, I mean, the amount of targets that are thrown, this is by far the largest shoot out of any shoot.
Shout out to White Flyer.
Yeah. Shout out to White Flyer.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about the future. I think that things are really looking good. And, with efforts on you guys' part and what we're doing and some of the other ones are doing, I think it's important. And I think we're on the right track. And we just continue to go ahead. Nothing, this has been outstanding here for people to walk up to me and say, "Hey, we really enjoy what your podcast, and or we enjoy listening to you, and keep it up."
Yeah,
and I will say this, Phil. If anybody's interested in going to look at the episodes, just get onto YouTube and do a search for Clay Target Legends, and they'll all populate and get on there.
I'll go watch. I've seen a few clips. I don't know if I've watched a full episode yet, but I've definitely seen the clips that you guys are sharing, and I really like them. They're done well. So we'll definitely check that out and see what they got.
And one of the other things is for everybody out there, if you have any trap shooting, skeet shooting, sporting clays artifacts, or family members or whatever, that it's a cool trophy you think or something, or don't maybe know the history of it, contact them.
Yeah, because
get with them, and
we're
I'm
about
sure-
to embark on a major Sporting Clays history expansion on the museum to bring
Okay.
that in. And to me, that was 40-something years ago, but it seems like yesterday, not history, but to anybody else, that's history.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got to start getting that history
Yeah.
now so that we have it.
Well, and that's why I say they can, donate it or loan it to
Sure.
you guys, however you want to do it, because I know there's some, back in the day, some of the cool belt buckles, they're valuable. So they might say, well, yeah, I'd love to show off my grandpa's stuff.
Well, that's the important thing is that, if you have a gun you want to give us or something like that, you don't necessarily have to give us. Don't
Yeah.
just put it. It's on loan to the museum. When you want it back, you get it back.
Get it back. Absolutely.
And that's awesome. I love that, and I think you guys have a great mission. You're doing a great job. We fully support it and appreciate you putting
Yes.
your time and effort in, because we know how hard it is to go and take the time to do all this and document it and then put it out there for free. So, but at the end of the day, it's good work, it's honest work, and it's helpful to everyone.
And
So
a labor of love.
it's a labor of love.
We do all the talking, and our producer John Slinker from
He does all
Shotco
the
does
real
all the
work.
work.
We're going to give him a raise though. Double or triple what we did last year.
I think our producer needs a raise.
So,
Well, Steve, it's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you very
Phil,
much,
it's been a
guys.
pleasure.
Zach,
Rick,
thank you.
thank you so much.
We'll
All
see you
right.
soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone for tuning in this Friday. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to send us your questions.
That's
Wear your merchandise. Be proud. Come by the store at the Grand next year. We'd love to see you. And thank you all for all the support. See you
good
soon.
luck, everyone.
All right, Trap Talk Nation. Now let's shift gears from legends of the sport to the story about the place that hosts one of the biggest events in the country. It's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Susan Harbaugh of Redbud, Illinois. She graciously gave us her time so that she could dig into how important the Grand American is, not just to Redbud, but to Sparta and the surrounding communities. Without further ado, here's the conversation with Mayor Harbaugh. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back, Trap Talk listeners. I'm your host, Zach Nannini, and I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr.
up?
We just got done with the Clay Target Championship.
Yep.
It's a little bit warm out there.
Yes.
And we're getting ready to go watch the Clay Target shoot-offs, but we have a guest from in town.
Just right out of town.
Right out of town.
Redbud,
Would you
which
mind
is about
introducing?
20 minutes away. So we have Mayor Susan Harbaugh. So she's gracious enough to come and talk to us about the community and what the Grand American means to the community. Now, how long have you been mayor?
About 4 years.
Okay, now you're from the area.
Yes.
Okay.
I grew up on a farm just outside of Redbud, moved into town, and have my zip code has always been 62278.
Well, there you go. And
That's pretty impressive.
and we were introduced to Susan through our good friend Keith
Keith
Ditto, who's been
Ditto.
on the show many times.
Yes.
And I guess Keith has figured out how to manage to be a house guest with y'all, right?
Yes, yes, a very well pampered and cared for house guest.
I've heard that because he says the meals are home cooked and it's all nice and his bed's all done. He's like, I'm like, you
No
can't.
wonder he's shooting good here.
You take such good care of him. He comes out and he shoots great every day. We got to back that off a little bit. He's too good. But we appreciate you coming and spending some time with us. We wanted to ask you some questions because obviously this has been here since 2006.
Yep.
You've lived here your whole life. What has the Grand done for the community of Redbud and other surrounding areas in your opinion?
I think little by little we've embraced the Grand, but quite frankly could embrace it even further. But it is so fun to drive through downtown Redbud at the square, as we call it, which is simply where the three highways come together.
Yep.
And see the multitude of license plates downtown. I know there's guests in town. They're visiting. They're eating. They're going to our IGA. They're stopping at the gas station. I mean, they're putting some dollars in our town. So that's what the Grand means to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do go to Redbud quite a bit. My favorite thing in Redbud is the Mikasa sandwich. So like
Yeah.
I can't. We literally went and had one today. I had that roast
know
beef.
he didn't bring
daddy.
any back for us.
Didn't bring any back for Ricky. Couldn't
No.
afford it. But me and my squad mate Rich Bullard, we try to get up there and get those sandwiches. And they used to have one in Sparta, but a long time ago.
Yes,
And
I
then
think they had three in three different locations, and actually ended up consolidating and only have the one in Redmond now. So there was an idea of how well placed we are. When Nina had to make a decision, she decided Redbud was going to be her sole operating location.
Yeah, and when we come through every time, I always leave because I'm in St. Louis. It takes about an hour and a half to get there, so I know they open at 11. So I never leave before 10. That way, when I'm coming in, I got that 11 o'clock open with that fresh warm bread, and then on the way
Zach's
in.
always thinking to get food.
You gotta eat. I mean,
Yeah.
So everybody listens to our shows, comes here to shoot, and they don't know about the area. They don't know what's available to them. So, in your words, as a local, what are the places that people should be eating around here, whether it's Redbud or not Redbud? I mean, what are What are the hot spots in your mind?
Well, I'll start in town, start in Redbud. Burnt End and 1860 are staples in our community. And we have 2 other restaurants that are in process right now. So we will have lots more options in 2026.
Okay.
Perfect.
Spreading out from that, I know Sparta has a number of good restaurants, and people just fan out every which direction because this is a town of 10,000 people when it's maxed out here.
Yeah.
And I realize there's food in those campers, but people still need to eat or want an option.
Well, they wanted, the convenience sometimes. Sometimes, we cook out a lot here at the building. We'll cook out of the campers. But it is sometimes you're just hot. Let's go grab something to eat.
Yeah,
So-
it just depends what's going on. You do get tired of cooking every night, right? At some point in time, and then you want to go see something new. And if the cuisine's good, I like. I am not Redbud, but there's the Cafe Tiff's over here in Marissa. That's pretty good for breakfast time. But you said that barbecue place. What was the name of it again?
Burnt
Ends.
End.
Yeah, so we went down there a couple
They
years
have
ago.
a very good bourbon selection
and
too, folks.
They had
Yes,
great
they do.
food
Yes.
and really good bourbon, and they
Yes.
were just so friendly to us. And what I love about everyone in this area is everyone is so welcoming and friendly to all the people that are coming from out of town, because there's people from all over the world that come into this.
Yeah.
But I think that goes both ways. This is such a welcoming community to start with. These shooters are just phenomenal folks, and I think there might be some ideas of the large campers that roll through in that, but they are just Joe Schmo like you and I, down to earth people, and we all get along very well.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah, well, it is because I come right through Redbud, Waterloo, Redbud into here because I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, so pulling the fifth wheel through. And it is, when you're pulling through sometimes, there'll be people standing there like, just watching. Like, what is this big RV coming through? And then the buses coming through that are even bigger than, my 45-foot RV. But it is, like, going back to Burnt Ends, we try to go there at least once a year. And I know the lady that owns it, Donna. Yeah. So last year we were there, Dave Mansell, and we tried, I think, 4 or 5 of the different pappies she had and some other stuff, the high-end bourbon. And I said, do you really get a good selection? She said, oh, yeah. I try to keep a good selection, especially for the Grand American. So,
Nice.
And that was a nice thing, is to go to a place, you're in a small town, you don't expect that in a little just, corner restaurant, you'd say. But then right across the street is 1860. And that's also good too.
And I've noticed like some of the places actually tool up for this. Like they actually seem like they have more staff or more help, or they're opening their hours a little bit just to accommodate. Because I mean, like you said, with 10,000 people, it's probably not always smoked and packed in there every night. And then when all these people influx at once, then all of a sudden it's busy. As a local person, do you guys pretty much that live in town stay away from the restaurants during the Grand? Is it one of those things where like everybody's coming in and or?
I think people have some realization it's going on, but there's just the usual that I'm still going to go out to eat. Now, our Chamber of Commerce has been much more active in promoting this. There's a Friday email goes out, and for weeks and months we have heard, the AIM is coming, Grand is coming, so priming businesses that this is peak time.
Yeah. Well, and that is a good thing because, I mean, the Grand is, I know, back before 2006, we used to be in Vandalia, Ohio, and I know talking with some of their, Chamber of Commerce people, or even I think back then it was the governor of Ohio that even said, it brought in millions of dollars into that area, which I'm sure it does the same thing, but it's more widespread here because there is only a few hotels locally, and otherwise a lot of people are staying up, O'Fallon area.
Yeah, a little bit of a drive. O'Fallon, all the local hotels book up, and then here on the campers. And I think that's one thing that keeps them here is they've got all this camping area that they can definitely put their stuff in.
I know Walmart, they stock up on everything. It seems like they're overstocked here.
Well, and they keep getting cases of water because, the AIM, I mean, they just went through pallets and pallets of water. I mean, it's as hot as it is out here, and we're out in the sun all day long, and we just can't get enough of it, really, Gatorade and water.
Yeah, the financial impact, the last I had read that was in some recent publications, was $25 to $30 million for Southern Illinois, which is a huge economic impact. And those tentacles reach out to, every small town, every large town. It doesn't matter size or location.
So, with that being said, you as the mayor, do you guys look at this and say, okay, are there new things that we could be putting in or building or doing to accommodate some of that money that's coming in? Or is it too small to say we're going to put this here because it's only 10, 15 days
Yeah, it's so
a
temporary. I think it's more gearing up the businesses we have to be prepared for this potential onslaught of folks coming in.
Okay. Yeah, because it is only, the 2 big events they have here or three, I should say. You have the AIM, then you have the Grand American. But prior to that, we have the U.S. Open. And it's, so if you really look at it, it just say 30 days out of a year.
Yeah,
It
it's
is kinda
hard. I
hard.
mean, I think what would be nice, and this is speaking to IDNR that now and in the Grand, like you have the cowboy action, you have the Sporting Clays course, you have the skeet fields, you have the great trap line. If they could throw more regional events here for the other things, like right now I know San Antonio has held a lot of the big tournaments down there, but I mean, who knows how long that'll even be around with the land encroachment. I mean, at some point in time, the value of that land is gonna push that gun club out at some point in time. But like, there's these other humongous tournaments that if they plan it right, they could just do them here. And if they did them here, and you had one big tournament a month, then I think you could justify, okay, we need another hotel, or we need a couple more restaurants, or we need. All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS ounce and eighth eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me, as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the gun club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do it all.
And they're friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support. I really appreciate it here at Trap Talk.
With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
hey, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky knew how much money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
we
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself, and I've been a supporter of them, and especially with my college team. We require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craig-offs. You got to keep them insured. So
Exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show.
all right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
let's get back to the show.
If you don't remember, Jack, back in 05 or 04 actually, when they talked about moving the Grand, and then 05 when it was going to Illinois. So a good friend of mine who's passed away now, Steve Brink. Steve used to own Game Master Sporting Goods, and he owned Holiday Inns. So he actually had property right across the road that he had got, and was going to put a Holiday Inn there.
I remember some of that.
And then when he looked at the numbers, he said, I can't justify spending $7.5 million to build a Holiday Inn for 30 days out of the year. And then some of the local business, I remember Carmichael's that used to be here, they were told all these, some outlandish numbers because someone said, "Oh, there's 5,000 people that used to shoot in Vandalia," and well, they thought it was 5,000. It's 5,000 a day, but they thought, "Oh, there's just those people," and then new 5,000 people. No, it's the same people.
Unduplicated.
Yeah, so someone was pushing the numbers.
Yeah, and we did lose people because there were some diehard people that went to the old Grand in Ohio, and they'd been doing it for so many years that they got used to it, and they just, it's changing. I'm not going anymore.
Yeah,
and so
some people don't like change. We needed it, and there's people that, with Illinois can be, the gun laws and all that stuff. But, and I always said, Southern Illinois is way different than Northern Illinois.
Correct. And what I will say is, even though the laws are the same in the state, the way that they treat us down here is very fair, very friendly. I mean, and we've never had any issues with anything gun related. Never had an issue getting the ammunition. Never had any, and that's just wonderful because I know the first year, it looked like Homeland Security kind of parked out there. The first in 2006, it was like, wow, this is like there was overkill.
So many state police, so many DNR. Local police,
but they just didn't know what it was going to be.
Fear of the unknown.
They
exactly.
They didn't know what it was going to be, and they prepared for it. And then once they seen that we're all just normal people, then it's like the next year there was like 3 guys in one trailer.
Well, there's a few more of that, but and we need them, especially during the AIM stuff with all the kids. You never know how.
Yeah, the biggest issue that you're going to have around here, in my opinion, is just roughing around on golf carts. Like that's like the one thing that you see every year where they get in a little bit of trouble is they're just driving them recklessly, or there's too many kids hanging off of them.
Well, they don't realize that it's a state facility. A lot of them, they think it's a gun club.
True.
So, and then what's these IDNR guys here for? And that's one of the things. So
what else do you think is important to share with our listeners today, Susan? I mean, what are the things that you want to make sure that we get across to the trap shooting community?
That we are a very welcoming community here in Southern Illinois. We have a lot to offer for our visitors, and this is a beautiful facility. We were fortunate enough to go out to Lynn Creek in May, and when you see another facility and then see this, it's like, yes, come shoot here. This is beautiful. This is a great setup.
It really is, and a lot of people that live locally don't even know how great this is comparatively to what's in the United States. I mean, this is like Disney World for trap shooters. The way it is, the way that it's built, everything around here, and I mean, that Missouri facility is basically one of my home clubs where I shoot a lot, and that's a good facility, but it's older, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not brand new, and it's been around a long time. This was built for this, and it can take that capacity. And I love supporting the local businesses. Another one that's local, the Butcher's Block. They always feed us really, really well. The whole family, they've got the trailers and everything set up, and take care of everyone here, and the food's always good. And
and it is a great community. I mean, a good friend of mine, he went to school in Carbondale at Southern Illinois University. So, I mean, he was familiar with the area. And when we came to the very first U.S. Open, and you didn't come to the Open in 06, did you?
I don't remember.
I don't think you did.
I probably not 06.
Because we came just to see, okay, what's this about? And we were like, okay, this is going to be a pretty nice, deal. And then the Grand, and it seems like every year we're learning more stuff. And I know the, outreach of some of the even further out communities like Waterloo, there's some restaurants there and such. People even drive over there, and there is a lot of stuff to do it's not just shooting, so some people are like, oh, I'm not going to bring my family because there's not a lot of stuff to do. But is there family-related stuff in the local area that people can bring kids that don't shoot? Or
Sure. Sparta has a community pool. Redbud has a community pool. We just put a splash pad in Redbud. So, yes, there in parks in Redbud, there are things to do for children, most definitely.
I know there's a couple golf courses there, too.
Yes, and we have a 9-hole.
He plays a lot of golf. I don't because I'm horrible. But
I try to play. We'll get groups of kids, whatever, and go out and play, when you're done shooting, if you don't make the shoot-offs, might as well go do something else.
I think back to your initial point, too, some of us are still learning about trap. Like when I was in high school, it was basketball, it was baseball, things like that. Trap didn't exist.
Yep.
And now as that gets introduced as a club sport, I think you'll see some of that change over time. But I think a lot of the locals are still coming for curiosity. Or I know we didn't come out for years and years. I just heard there was 10,000 people out here. I just imagined gridlock.
I'm out of that.
And then once we started hosting, it was like, well, I guess I'll go check out what these guys are doing. And I got out here. I'm like, oh, this is easy to get around.
Yeah.
And once you know what bank they're on, you just follow the numbers down. And it's easy to find somebody, easy to watch. We bring lawn chairs, and we've made a spectator sport out of it. So.
And I love that. Like you said, you're not even even really a shooter per se. I mean, you like guns, but other than that, you're able to come watch and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And I think more people should come check it out. I've invited a bunch of people from St. Louis to try to just come and walk the vendors row and see
And that's
people
the one
shooting.
thing.
And
Yeah, the vendor row, here, and when we have the tent vendors down on the east side, and that is something that people can just come and check it out. All the locals, if there's something they're shooting related, it doesn't even have to be trap shooting, even hunting stuff. There's vendors here that cater to that, so it is the nice thing. And I know, does any local schools, do they have any shooting teams in the area?
Yeah, I think they're more of club-based rather than
Club-based.
school-supported because
Okay.
of the situation with the guns and different things, and
Yep.
you can or can't have them on school grounds and
Yeah.
that. So yes, more of those are popping up.
Okay, because I was a college coach for 10 years, but I grew up shooting in high school back in 80s and, well, I guess it would be 88 to 92, junior high and high school. In Nebraska, we had the longest running youth shooting program. So this year was our 54th annual state high school shoot. So for 54 years, they've been doing it, and we actually have one school just outside of Lincoln, Norris High School. They actually have 3 trap fields on their school property.
Oh wow, you were a little ahead of us.
Yeah, well, they had one, and it's crazy. People are like, they really? I said, yeah, but now the guns can only be there. They can't go on any other part of the school property, but it's also out in the country, so,
yeah, and I think I can personally attest to the fact that there's a lot of shooters coming from this area now because this is here. One of my friends from school, I went to Lindenwood with Drew Feig,
Drew
Feig
Feig,
family.
yep, Feig family.
He's from here, and he only started shooting trap because this was put in. So he went to Lindenwood in 2010
Yep.
and shot on a scholarship with me on the team and did 4 years together. And it was a good friend of mine. But they put this in 2006. From 2006 to 2010, he had never shot a clay target before, and then was coming out here and training and practicing. And then he went basically to be on one of the greatest shotgun teams in the collegiate history, won all these national championships. And it was really cool because he said, yeah, a lot of my people in this community, they weren't going to do this, but then this is here, and now it's just a thing to come check out and do, which I think that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a community. More meetings and things that I go, if I drop the word trap, I find somebody who's affiliated or whose son comes out here and shoots an aim, or the tentacles reach out fairly far.
Yeah. Well, you look at, one of our people, Anna Rao.
Yeah.
She lives in Festus, and this is where she practices.
Goodness.
So she drives an hour from Festus. And she always says, well, why not come train here? This is where the world championships are.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
And that is it's just kind of like old home. That's
it's important to be familiar with this and get in a position where you're confident. I guess for people that are considering living around this area, let's talk about Redbud and why Redbud's so great.
It's the people. It is nothing but the people. It is just a warm, welcoming community. I know right now we're working on the America 250 project for next year for the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Okay.
We've pulled a group of like close to 15 people together for a meeting and divided into committees. And I was at another meeting mentioning we had done this, and that previous mayor said, well, how did you get people to volunteer? I said, we asked. People just step up. If we need help, they'll step up. Or if your neighbor needs help.
Yeah, that's a great lesson, talking about asking for help and people stepping up, because I think there's so many good people in this community, in your community, in our sport, and people are afraid to ask. I mean, gun clubs are afraid to ask for help, and if you just ask, a lot of good people show up and they start pulling the weight and doing their part. I mean, I know, we asked our producer John Slinker to help us, and he's basically doing everything for free. So, we appreciate you, John.
We love
Shout
you,
out to Shotco. They're great. They take care of us, and we're thinking about paying him double next year. Greatest thing of his life.
That's right. We did good. No, but and that's one of the things. So with Redbud, is there? You said there's some just couple new restaurants coming in. Is that
There
correct?
should be two. Yeah, one's coming in the next few weeks, and then one is being renovated, and probably within the next year will be opening.
Can you say what kind of food it is, or is it top secret?
One is I would say upscale bar food is the newest one coming in.
Okay.
It's
I like
a
that.
restaurant in Smithton that's expanding down into our town.
Okay.
And the other one's a strictly ground up. She's starting over and bringing in some new ideas, actually from the West Coast.
Okay.
Oh,
So we'll see how that rolls.
your area.
Yeah, I used to be from San Jose, California, but then I got to the Midwest and I fell in love with it, and I just said I'm just going to live out here now. It's wonderful. It's definitely a good time, other than how hot it gets some days. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the only-
but we've been fortunate. During the AIM, it was hot. And then the first day of the grand prelims, it was hot. And then Thursday till yesterday, it really hasn't been too bad. Even today wasn't bad. We had a nice south wind. I didn't think it was hot, but I know you were out there sweating. Zach is Italian, so he sweats a lot.
I get hot. It happens, but you know what? It's not a problem. It worked.
Yeah. They did break another 500 by 500 a day, folks. So I'm not sure. I don't think that's ever been done during the Grand American twice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at
so.
it, but that was really cool today. I mean, not to go off track of talking with the mayor, but
Yep.
I mean that was
that's fantastic.
It
was
is.
fun.
It's not. I've been on one 500 by 500 squad. I think Zach's missed on a couple 499s I've been on.
Yeah, I did. I did before. I think I know I did one. It was in Heartland Grand,
But
and then we had.
it is a big feat to break a 5x5.
But if I get the chance and we're just doing it again, I might dump one again, so I can keep two and you can have one.
It's okay. But then you'd have three. I know you can't
the
add.
math.
And he is my financial
math.
advisor. I'm still rethinking this.
I'm just throwing jokes, and sometimes they don't always hit. But so I think as a leader in the community, there's got to be a lot of other information and knowledge you can give to our listeners today. Is there some good life lessons or things that you've kind of learned being a community leader that you would like to share with the folks today?
Probably just to step up when help's needed and volunteer. You really need to help. I mean, all this stuff doesn't get done on its own. And I know everybody's busy and everybody's running in 16 different directions, but if everybody would just do one thing, one small thing, even if it's so small as pick up a piece of trash when you walk by it, pick up a stick when you're at the park.
You say that, and it's funny. I see that in especially here because the IDNR guys are going around, the tongs picking up stuff, and I'm like, and you see the boxes on the road. I stopped yesterday, and a box was laying on the road, and the guy's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, someone dumped, it's an empty box.
Pick it up."
Well, I'm like,
be kind to your neighbor.
Exactly. I'm like, it is one of those things. Now, is that what kind of inspired you to be mayor, or what did inspire you to be mayor of Redwood?
Well, I had served as an older person, and when the position became available, I thought, yeah, that's something I can do. And there was some projects that needed to be addressed. And then when the term ended, I needed to run for mayor. It was like, yeah, I'm starting to see some momentum here, starting to see some things in place. So let's see this through for another 4 years.
Okay. Yeah, because when you got to run for it and get voted in, that means the community's standing behind you. Mm-hmm. So, which is a good thing,
Well, you're doing your job, obviously.
Exactly.
They're going to revote you in. I mean, because I'm sure people don't do the job and then boom, they're gone. And so here you are, continuing. And like I said, Keith only says great things. So I'm sure. And we appreciate you sharing the information, especially because we have a lot of younger listeners, and they're trying to figure out what's a good life lesson, what's a good helpful direction. And I think even that, just pulling your weight a little bit, that goes far.
Being nice to others.
Yeah, it's harder. Harder for us sometimes.
That is harder for me.
And even younger listeners, if there's a club at school that maybe you're in FFA, well, how about being an officer in FFA because somebody needs to lead that group?
Yeah.
Or in the shooting club, somebody needs to be the president or the historian
VP, treasurer, all that stuff. And that's one of the things people are scared to kind of go outside the box. They want their comfort zone. Zach and I really aren't that way. We kind of, people need something, fine. We'll help out. It's because that's what it's about.
So I see you brought these magazines. Is there anything like special you want to share that's in there today? Or?
Just other than these are our visitor guides that we designed, the chamber actually designed last year, and just chocked full of everything fun and wonderful about Redbud. So I will leave one of these with each one of you this evening. So
we'll keep one here in the Trop Talk building if anybody ever wants to stop by and see what's in Redbud. We've got the visitor center stuff. Oh, you got a little Dalmatian in there. This is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, for instance, like volunteerism, the fire department is featured in this in one of the early pages.
Me Costa sub, there it is.
All of our fire department is entirely volunteer.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes. So like I said, that's how we roll in town. We help each other.
That is a nice thing. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you got all the restaurants right here. This is cool.
I know so speaking of Redbud, I drive through, there's a car dealership there that has classic cars in it every once in a while in the showroom. It's on the west side.
On the west side with the classic cars. Is it right off of downtown?
Yeah. So as you're driving through, like I'd be coming
from St. Louis.
From St. Louis. Was that down 3?
Yeah.
I guess
on the left-hand side.
It's on the right-hand side.
With the classic. Oh, there's a few there at.
So it used to be the Ford dealership, I think.
Yes, that's an individual who owns that, and it just occasionally has some cars.
cars
we
in
have
there.
a few car places in town.
I've
That's why
seen
I
that.
had to think a
Yeah, I
second.
know. There
Because
is
as you
several
get
of them.
closer to the square, then Ralph Daney has a spot on the left-hand
Left-hand
side that
side.
he has a small garage and just classic things.
Yeah.
And then if you take Route 3 south, we have V8 Speed and Restro in town, which does some phenomenal.
That's a place we saw last year, I think, when we were driving around with Mansell trying to find
They
bourbon.
literally do worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, cars can ship in from overseas. They completely rebuild them, fix them up, and send them. It is amazing what that shop does. In our little town.
So when I'm going to get my sandwiches, I see in this Redbud Industries. What do they do? Is that a big manufacturing plant, or?
Yeah, that was one of our original manufacturing facilities in Redbud, coil processing lines that they produce.
Okay.
That spun off into another sister company that actually does steel slitting and processes things down close to the river. Redbud has a lot of industry in town. We have 3 different industrial parks. This business park that we're working on now on the east side of town, we will have lots available. We are hoping to attract businesses to town. I'd love to see a business that's related to shooting or trap shooting, something related to here.
I think it's a great idea, and
We will-
I'm sure somebody's going to jump on at some
We
point
will
in time.
we will have shovel ready lots probably in a few weeks here, not too far off. I'm already hoping for that ribbon cutting shortly to stand on those brand new streets.
Nice. Hey, do you see the treasure?
Yeah, Brad
Mayberry.
Yes, Brad is a friend.
Brad has been on the show since Brad
Yes.
runs the facility here
Yes.
and talked, just a little bit about the facility too, because there's a lot of people that maybe come to the Grand, but they don't know a lot about the facility too. So that was a good episode with Brad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said it best. The community really supports this. They're really friendly. They're really nice. Anybody that hasn't been to the Grand, come on out. Check out the local communities. Check out the restaurants. Be friendly so we can keep the reputation going in the right
Exactly.
direction. And yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you coming out today. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. Is there anything else that you want to cover before we close up?
No, other than just come visit Redbud sometime and Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
There is so much beauty in this state, and especially when you get what I like to call deep Southern Illinois down the 2457 split down there. Oh my God, it's just the state parks and the beauty here is just unmatched.
Nice. Wow.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for being on the
Yes.
show.
Yes.
We'll see you very
Thank
soon.
you very much. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
and
Say
good
hi
luck.
to Keith for us. I know we can't
Well,
keep you too late because of the dinner plans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta
Keith will
feed
probably
him.
have her cooking dinner.
Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot him. We both love him.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, winning, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my winning stock. Get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that winning stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot winnings.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
And the Trap Talk podcast is brought to you in part by
RM Shooting Clinics. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. If you want to shoot hundreds of hundreds of hundreds, give Ricky a call today. Zach Nannini Financial. We believe in putting people first.